Just doing a brief correction on my last video. When I came on, I had seen a different video that talked about an air crash that showed a different simulation to a different plane that wasn't shown the first time that I saw it yesterday. So I had assumed it was another plane crash. What they were talking about, it was like a 4 month ago crash that had happened at the same spot, the same location. So there is two plane crashes in 4 months time apart, not today. But it's also true that a year or 7 months ago, Wode Maya did advertise on one of these planes leaving China to go to Ethiopia, and that this incident could have very well have affected some of those people that wanted to be a part of this year of return. So the whole point of it is, I think this Pan African thing needs to really be reconsidered for a lot of people that are born native to America. I can't speak for people that are from Africa or believe strong that they want to go be there regardless of what things are popping off over there. I just think that we have a lot of other things to contend with here. But I just bring the news to try to help people to make better decisions as best I can. I found it interesting that Donald Trump had Twittered about the air flight, and he made mention about products being messed with too much that weren't really necessary. I'm trying to find it to say it verbatim though, but I just hope that a lot of people are not. Well, I hope that we find out the names of the people that have been affected by this flight. I misplaced it somewhere. So I hope you guys are staying up on the news of everything. While I still look for his Twitter writing that I wrote, not that long ago either. Um, Kenya also woke up to a fire that burnt down their toy market there in Kenya. Um, it swept away a lot of businesses due to this fire there in Kenya. And this is the same location that Dr. Mambe stays at, and the same location that that plane was supposed to land. So that's kind of bizarre. It sounds very strange to me. This also is the same city that Dr. Mambe had marketed to us, saying Shashamane, Ethiopia, is where people could go live, and it marketed the city and showed some of the landscaping of it like 3 days before the crash. So I'm basically saying that, this is prophetic, that this type of stuff, when you are listening to people that are not um, of God, that represents you as a tribe or a people, you might get caught up in something that represents badness and judgment according to end time things, which it is kind of bizarre, but that's what it is. So I'm going to read a piece of this verse. I can't find Twitter of Donald Trump, but you guys can look up the Donald Trump Twitter that he wrote. He basically was saying that, oh, here it is. He said today on Twitter, Donald Trump, that the airplanes are becoming far too complex to fly. He said the pilots are no longer needed, but rather computer scientists for MIT. So now they're allowing scientists to use computerized compartment controls on these newer so-called airplanes that That's what he's saying. So moving on, what he said was, I see it all the time in many products, he says, always seeking to go one unnecessary step further when often old and simpler is far better. Split second decisions. And that's kind of eerie though, because that's the truth. When you make split second decisions to go hop on a plane, to go somewhere and take a chance on a product you're not even up on, and then you have a plane that flies out of the sky like that within 6 minutes, I mean, it's horrific. I hope that we get to know all the names of the people, and I hope that people will learn from this situation and not feel so gleeful about running to Africa. I mean, it happened 2 times within 4 months. I mean, and now they've grounded all these airplanes, but they unleashed the year of return in January, right? So this has been advertised for a few months. And that's really bad if that is one of the reasons why a lot of people perished, in other words. So this Bible scripture talked about Proverbs. I'm going to read a portion of it, of Proverbs. An ungodly witness, it scorneth judgment, and the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. Judgments are prepared for scorners, and stripes for the backs of fools. It sounds like slavery. It sounds like a judgment that you can't get up out of. And if indeed some of these people were influenced to board the airplane to do this year of return, they had a rude awakening when that plane fell down. That is a fact. And I'm just hoping that the 2 men that are still over there are unaffected by this. I have no awares because I haven't seen alive by these two. But I'm hoping something good comes out of that. But it remains to be seen. I don't know why we're not talking about the airplane, though. I don't understand, honestly, why that's not a topic, a real good topic, with all this conversation that's been going around about how good it is to fly and come to Africa. And I don't know, it just seems like everybody's just kind of floating around the conversation a little bit. And I don't know whose family is going to be affected by this crash, but I'm sure a whole lot of people. So we're going to hear different stories, I'm sure, climbing out of who is who and who was caught up. But I did say on one of my videos, I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was earlier, I might have had to accidentally erase it though, but it actually showed a minute of the inside of the plane before the crash, and you could hear the wailing of children, and it just was so chaotic and so eerie. I can't remember the name of the YouTube though offhand, but it sounded like something bad was about to happen, the way that the kids were screaming. But we all know that prophecy is, in my opinion, it is true if it lines up to the news date to date. And I didn't even know about the crash that happened 4 months ago. So, and that they've been having crashes for years. So it's just something to keep in mind. These newer technologies, obviously, people are complaining about the newer Android phones. Is it 5? Is it number 8 or 5? One of those Androids that are newer that's supposed to be having issues. And then now you have the airplanes that have so-called higher technology or whatever, and they're faulty. And so a lot of people are thinking they're riding high in the sky, and then they're not going to be surviving that. But there were no plane parts left of the, explosion. They described this airplane as an explosion because there was not really anything but dust really left, not too much of no bodies or anything like that was discovered. But so I don't know how they're going to be able to identify bodies unless they just go off of a list. So I guess we have to wait and see what they're going to do. But I hope that we will find other panels that will talk about this, and I hope that people will, if they survive coming back from this, that people be smart about running out there on those planes. So that's all I have to say, because this conversation is not being had, and it is an important conversation because people are marketing to us about going elsewhere, and they're not surviving that elsewhere. So I mean, it's kind of important. And also the Wode Maya, he's somewhere over there. So we have to figure out if he's on one of those planes. No, he wasn't on the plane. He said he was almost on the plane. That's right. He said he almost was on the plane and he missed it because of deportation or something like that. And that he's in Tanzania, I believe he said he was yesterday. So I guess we'll have to see who's going to talk about this airplane thing. It took Dr. Mambe, who's been advertising to us, 2 days to mention the crash. 2 days. And all that marketing and talking about the land and how nice it is, I thought that that was kind of inappropriate because it's kind of really severe to have such a tragic moment to occur in just 6 minutes so suddenly like that. And I thought that that should have had at least a minimum, or I'm so sorry to have the losses of these people, but it didn't happen like that. She went on and illustrated another land, another island somewhere else. And then she disappeared and ended up in London the second day talking about what happened in Africa, not in Africa. So she got out of harm's way, and it's left to see who is going to survive this ordeal. And I'm very interested in seeing who was on those planes. But so please like and share this video. I'm just hopeful that we have more important conversations instead of gossip, talking about people trying to tell you to go to Africa and then you are dropping out of the sky. 2 planes within 4 months time is kind of severe. And the fact that this has caused a lot of grounding of these airplanes and that they have technical difficulties in itself, and people they're never coming back, and it's sad. So with that being said, please like and share this video. Please take heed as you can to not believe people's marketing, because it might be not the best product, as Trump said, the best product to